Evergreen Park.
And welcome into the EP
It's
podcast.
the
Oh, it's gonna
EP
keep playing. Come on!
podcast.
I was like, we're gonna play the jingle at the beginning, and it's gonna be great. We're finally gonna have something
We're
better
live.
for an intro. No, I
This is
screwed
the
it
fun
up.
of being live.
I screwed it up. Welcome into the EP podcast. My name is Chris.
I'm
That's Hannah.
Hannah.
How are you? I'm an idiot.
I am an officer.
Yeah, we're going to find out exactly what all that means. Lorraine Swanson from the EP Patch. She does local news not only for Evergreen Park, but a lot of the other areas, Oak Lawn, different suburbs that surround Evergreen Park. She'll be on the show at about 8:30. 8:15, we have a maybe special guest.
Maybe.
Calling in from parts unknown,
Ooh,
a high atop the Rocky Mountains,
really?
an Evergreen Park resident who is crossing the Continental Divide.
That is so cool.
If you look at the show notes, though, I think I called it the Great Divide. I'm pretty sure I
You did
called
call
it
it the Great Divide.
Yeah,
It's the
like-
Continental Divide.
Yeah, right. So it was like that
done
Creed
messed up.
song. It was like that Creed song,
I love Creed.
right? Where Scott Stapp's like, "You make me free," and then you got to cross the Great Divide. Across the Great Divide. So that was obviously I'm an idiot. So that's one of the reasons that idiot's behind there. The other reason is that I flooded the bar for the second time in 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
the refrigerator has been making all kinds of noise. If you followed a live episode recently, I showed video of the fact that I flooded the 9-foot homemade oak bar, and I flooded it again. So that's why I'm an idiot. Why are you Officer Hannah?
Well, all weekend I had to play police officer. I had to switch between being police officer and bad guy, and I got roughed up by the police.
This is an interesting dating life you have.
I got roughed up by
Okay,
by
are
this
you-
little officer.
Are you going to explain this? Because it sounds a little dirty the way that you're saying it.
The little 5-year-old.
Oh,
The
okay.
little 5-year-old. You better watch out. Keep telling him. You can't be a dirty cop. There's people out there
Yeah.
with cell phones.
If
I got a bruise on my hand. I got a bruise on my shoulder.
If you saw last week's live show, Hannah talked about how her new boyfriend, that it's getting serious because you got to meet his kid.
Yeah.
This is the guy you picked up in the McDonald's drive-thru.
Yes,
He
with the
gave
French
you,
fries,
Gave you
yes.
extra fries because you were cute.
Yes.
And you've met his son now.
Yeah.
And the kid has basically had a date with you, and now he locked you up and he gave you bruises.
Yes.
It's a very abusive relationship, and I'm worried about you.
You know.
Okay? I mean, I know you're
Yeah.
trying to impress the kid. I know you don't want dad to be upset, but
No.
maybe we just don't let the kid, beat you up. It's
Yeah.
okay to tell the kid no.
Oh,
It's
come
not
on. No, it's not.
No, it's totally okay. I tell my children no all the time.
But he's not my child, so.
Take a look at this. Take a look at this picture right here. This is the Continental Divide. These pictures taken today by one of our listeners who wrote into me this week and told me that he listens to the EP podcast weekly as he's doing a 3,000-mile trek.
When you say trek, is he walking 3,000 miles?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up the email right here. He tells me the entire
Jesus.
story, okay?
It's like Forrest Gump.
No, I mean, like, it's really incredible.
Get to the end and say,
This
I'm
guy's
tired, I
walking
wanna
around here.
go home.
Here's another shot. These are the places
I
he's
want to
seeing.
go.
Here's the message I got.
I wanna go.
His name is Aaron Borowski. Hi, Chris. I'm an EP resident currently on a major adventure hiking through the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail, getting to visit the states of New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana all by foot.
All
About
by foot.
3,100 miles this guy is walking. He's an
Jeez.
Evergreen Park resident. He started in the border of Mexico in April, and he's going all the way to Canada.
Wow.
And I don't know where he is exactly right now.
So he's just got a tent that he packs with him?
Yes. And he listens to the EP podcast weekly as he goes out there into the...
That's amazing.
It's insane to me that that's what he does.
That's amazing.
And this is how he keeps contact with people, because he's walking... Basically, he's walking the entire Continental Divide with his headphones on, listening to the podcast.
That's amazing.
Yes. So now
That's amazing.
This gives my life purpose. I have to keep this guy entertained while he's
Yeah.
out there, and hopefully not distract him too much that he gets eaten by a bear.
Well, we don't want that happening.
Okay. So Aaron is going to try to contact
Yeah, I
us.
wonder what the cell service is like out there.
That was the thing. So we're not sure how it's going to go.
Yeah.
He's walking up to a peak, and he's going to try to contact us from his phone. I've never met him. He's a listener that reached out through the eppodcast.com on the contact form, and he is walking from Mexico to Canada
That is amazing.
through the Continental Divide.
I wonder how long he budgeted this is going to take him.
Well,
Do you like pull up Google Maps and do like, give me directions from Mexico to Canada, but hit the little walking icon?
I don't know where he is right now, but
if it tells you how many
here's
miles.
the thing. I've been to the Grand Canyon. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Colorado, and I've been to a lot of these states. I used to do radio out west, and so I know he's at least halfway based upon those pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, because it doesn't really look like that in Arizona. Now, northern Arizona might start looking that way. So he may only be like on the top end of those states. He probably is into Utah. So my guess is he's about halfway. He started in April.
I was gonna say, it started in April.
But I might be wrong. Maybe he's
What do you
further
do for
along.
food?
Huh?
What is he doing for food? I
Probably-
have so many questions.
He probably eats varmints.
Yeah.
You probably catch a varmint, eat a varmint.
rabbit.
Right. You probably
Yeah.
lay in snares,
Yeah.
Something like that. Come across a possum, you eat the possum.
Yeah.
What are we kidding? There's probably like a million hippies walking up and down this trail. They probably got bed and breakfast every stop, and it's probably the most pampered thing you've ever heard of
You
in your
think
life.
so?
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
It's probably that. It's probably the most pampered thing.
Could be.
On Monday's show, Mayor Kelly Burke is going to be on.
Good.
Now, I talked to her today, and I had hoped to get audio for you, but we were also covering the soft opening of Spoken Vine, the new wine bar.
Yeah.
So the choice was, do I go drink wine so I can talk to you about it on tonight's show, or do I produce part of the interview so you can hear it tonight? So I'll tell you just some of the things we're going to talk about, but you're going to have to listen on Monday to hear what the mayor of Evergreen Park had to say. But I asked her a wide variety of things. We talk about why the MHR Carnival didn't happen this year.
That's a big topic.
And what the Evergreen Park and the police department, how that, what that communication was like. Kind of get a little bit of a story there.
Yeah.
There is a question, and I don't know if she even knew the answer correct, like all the way. She may be calling me back before Monday's show. Why you never see an ice cream truck in Evergreen Park? That was a listener question.
Really?
Somebody asked about that. Okay, some interesting things with the
Interesting.
parade that are coming up here, some new projects, details on the food truck night, which is happening in July, and that is going to be more than twice the size in terms of the vendors.
When is that in July?
It's a Thursday night. I want to say it's the 27th, but don't
Okay.
quote me. You're going to have to listen to the show.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what she said when she was doing it.
Got it.
They haven't officially posted it, so she kind of unveiled it on the show.
Okay.
Okay, and then we cover a bunch of other things, different projects going on in the village, some of the things that people are most concerned about, how business is going up and down the street. And these are kind of the concerns that we've gotten so far in the EP podcast survey. Now, if you don't know about the survey's on the website, theeppodcast.com. Our social media manager keeps kind of pumping it out every once in a while. Tell us what you think about the podcast. We talked about this a little bit last week, and most people say, I want to hear from the mayor. I want to hear from the trustees. I want to know about what's going on with business. There's certain things I like. There's certain things I don't like. And we're kind of like, we're listening to it. There's a lot of people want to hear more about the school, more about the high school, but we're curious about what people want to hear on the show. So we're 5 years into this, okay? If you've got something, good or bad, I'll listen to it. You can't hurt my feelings.
No,
You're like,
you
Chris,
really can't.
Chris, you suck. Your shirt is stupid, your face is stupid, and
I don't
you're
know,
stupid.
Your feelings did get hurt when someone said, "Oh yeah, this is Hannah's show, isn't it?"
No, I knew what my feelings weren't hurt by
They
that. I
weren't
just thought it
hurt.
was funny. I just thought it was funny. I mean, like here, I'll tell you a little inside secret here. Hannah's the best. Okay, Hannah comes in,
Oh,
she
yeah.
tells us all about her dating life and how she's just so afraid that this 5-year-old little boy that is the son of this new man that she's dating will not like her, that she lets the little boy beat the crap out of her, obviously.
He did let him beat the crap out of
Okay,
me
you got bruises on you, Hannah. Got bruises from a 5-year-old.
from a 5-year-old.
Okay, just because you don't want him to hate you.
And I fed him bacon.
I feel
and
like
he still beat me up.
I feel like you would let this kid tie you to a stake because he's playing witches in Salem, and you would let it go as far as it could go.
He
'cause
cuffed.
you don't want to make him
He
upset.
cuffed me to a Nerf basketball net.
Yeah, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's concerning to me. I'm worried about you. I'm going to call some kind of 1-800 line and report something.
I
That's
mean,
frightening to me.
Pause real. Oh yeah.
What are the
We're
comments
getting a
here?
comment
What
on
do
your
we got here?
shirt.
Can you all pause real quick? I have to get my sunscreen to deflect the hotness coming off of that Hawaiian shirt. As you can see,
Magnum PI.
I got it open a little bit too.
Yeah.
Got it open a little bit. The camera doesn't pick up the Italian chest hair, but it's there.
The Italian chest
The
hair.
Italian chest hair is there. Okay. And then so we've got that. And then as I just want to remind everybody, it's already in the comments here, but we also will allow you to jump in and join the show And all you have to do is click on that link. The thing that I'm going to tell you is this, though. I have to see you when you jump into the waiting room.
Yeah.
If you're covering up your screen and I can't see you, I'm afraid that when I go on the screen with you, you will remove whatever the cover is, and there'll be some sort of lewd act going on. And I'm not falling for
This
that.
is a family
It's
show.
a family show.
It's a
okay?
family show.
So if you're going to jump on, I got to see your camera when you jump on. So if you got to put on makeup or whatever like that, because that's my biggest
Put
fear.
on a
Hannah.
shirt.
My biggest fear is nudity on the EP podcast.
Yeah, we don't want that.
I don't want that. I just don't want it.
No,
okay.
don't want that.
All right. So here we go. We're going to have the guy from the Continental Divide hopefully at 8:15. Lorraine is going to be on at 8:30. I flooded the bar. The mayor's on Monday. And I judged a pizza war that was for Southside Pod, but I
Yeah.
want to tell you the story. I was a judge yesterday at Pizza Wars in Garfield Ridge. Now, the reason that I bring this up on the EP podcast is they brought out all the pizza joints in the Garfield Ridge area. All of them. Summit, pizza joints from Bridgeview, all these pizza places. They lined them up in a parking lot.
Okay.
People paid $12 to walk around and get a little square of all these pieces of pizza.
Okay.
If you look on the Southside Pod the social media, you can see all the videos of me doing it. That's one of the other podcasts that I'm doing. Okay, and it covers basically EP podcast, but like for the entire South Side. Okay, and I'm trying all these pizzas, and I'm a judge. I had somebody from 103.5 FM was a judge. I was a judge.
Okay.
WGN, there was somebody from WGN there.
Very nice.
And there was some Australian, rugby player, Australian rugby player.
Cool.
Because I guess there's a rugby team now here in Chicago.
Yeah, I watched him on TV the other day. I
Yeah.
didn't even know we had that.
Right. So I met this guy. He was a giant mountain of a man.
Oh, yeah.
Who had never eaten pizza in his life and didn't know what I was
tree
doing.
trunks for
He
legs.
had no idea. Okay. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm eating this pizza. I go through the entire thing. Let me tell you something right now, Hannah. The winner couldn't touch Rosangela's, Baracco's,
Really?
Palermo's. I don't know
Rosangelo's
what-
is my favorite.
I don't know what these people are eating in Summit, but it is not real pizza, and I'm telling you that right now. It's awful.
You're biased.
Let's bring on our first guest right here. We have Jody here.
Hi, Jody.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I didn't know I was going to be on.
Well, yeah, that's the only way we could talk to you. I appreciate you know, like I said that thing about like you got to uncover the screen because it was kind of turned off, and I was worried. I didn't know who Jody was. What do you tell me, Hannah? Just tell me.
Turn me up.
Turn you up.
Turn me
Okay.
up.
Oh, I got to turn her up. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. So now she can hear you.
Yeah.
How can I help you? What's going on?
Nothing. I'm just excited to hear from Aaron.
Oh, do you know Aaron?
Yes, I do.
Are you related?
No, but I'm following his trek on the
Oh, okay.
Continental Divide. So it's interesting that he's going to have cell service to be on. I know we've been texting, but and I thought you were so cute when you mentioned that he eats varmints because he doesn't. That was funny.
what
But
does
he'll
he
have to
eat?
tell. Well, he'll tell you all about it. It's a good
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have him on here in just a minute. I see him setting up here, so we're going to have him on in just a
there
moment
he
here.
is. I see
But
him.
before I get Aaron on, so you've been following him. So is he doing this through his social media? How did you follow him? How can people in Evergreen Park follow Aaron trek
Yeah.
from Mexico to Canada?
Well, he is a family friend, so we got the link and all the information from him before he set off.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But I don't, and maybe he'll share the link. I don't know how he does it. I'm
Well,
not
here-
a little tech savvy, to be honest with you, but the pictures are gorgeous of his trip, and he's having a great time. So it'll be fun to hear from him.
Well, you're a family friend, so I'm going to let you say hi to him. Here, he's going to pop up right there.
Okay.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey guys.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Hey, hi there.
Good to see you.
Same here.
Okay, so before I let the Jody go and we talk, Aaron, I just wanted to make sure you guys got a chance to talk because it sounds like you know them, they know you, they've been following you, and you've been doing this since April, and you're trekking the entire Continental Divide from basically Mexico to Canada. And the pictures you sent me are beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've been sending this stuff back. Guys, I don't know both names on there. I just see Jody, but I see two people there. But I mean, like, what has impressed you the most as you're sitting there watching what Aaron is doing?
Well, this is Joe, Jody's husband, and Aaron's friend as well. I would have to say the most impressive thing by far is when he started the hike in April, his hair was totally black.
Oh. I mean, nature, natural hair.
Yeah, there's nowhere to color your hair in the middle of the Continental Divide. That's amazing. You know, that's how you know it's a friend, Aaron, when they're going to sell you out as quickly as possible in public.
Hey,
Right.
here. I mean, you know, you got to try though.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Jody, Joe, I appreciate you jumping on. Sit back and enjoy the interview, okay?
Thank you. Those are the things.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Aaron, how
Hey.
are you?
Good, good. How are you two?
I'm good.
We're great.
So for anybody that's joining here late, just so you understand, Aaron's an Evergreen Park resident. He reached out to us through the website, the eppodcast.com, and he told me that he was trekking through the Continental Divide. I keep screwing up and calling it the Great Divide because I'm an idiot. These are some of the pictures. I'm going to throw them up on the screen real quick here. Absolutely beautiful views.
Gorgeous.
Just incredible. You have seen so much. So first of all, tell us, how far have you made it? You started basically at the U.S.-Mexico border. Where are you at now heading towards Canada?
So with hiking, you never really know what's going to happen. And Colorado got slammed with snow. So there's about 500 people a year who attempt the Continental Divide Trail. And so what we did is we're skipping Colorado because the snow is so bad. I went to Wyoming, did about 120 miles in Wyoming in what they call the basin, which is more of like a shrubby desert area, and can't go forward because there's too much snow in
Wow.
one of the passages there. So we came up to Glacier. I essentially got a hitch all the way to Idaho Falls, took 3 buses to get up to Kalispell, Montana. And those pictures are from Glacier National Park. So I'm hiking
beautiful.
south, catch up to where I left off.
What's incredible about this entire thing, I'm trying to find like a view so we can get a better picture of you, but anyway, it ain't working here. We're going to go back to this. Okay. So anyway, what's incredible to me, first of all, is technology, that he is marching around. He was able to jump on his phone and just jump on and talk to us here in Evergreen Park. That will always amaze me. You know, I know to my children, they think this is normal, but to me, the fact that we're all talking at this moment is incredible. Okay. Secondly, I'm also amazed that, and well, I'm not amazed. I know it. I lived out on the West Coast for a while. I lived in Reno, Nevada, in the Sierra Nevadas. Okay. I've been out west a bunch of times. I have friends that are out in Colorado. I've gone skiing in months that you probably don't think people can ski because certain mountains still have snow. So I'm not shocked that you ran into something. But like for most of us here, it's June and you're like, well, there was snow. I couldn't get through. But that's something that exists. I mean, heck, you go to mountains in Hawaii, there's snow on the top of them. People don't even understand that. It doesn't make any sense. So that was like something that was a possibility, I would imagine. You had it in your head like we might get snowed in at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Colorado, typically you're gonna have snow, and you're also gonna have rain because June you hit monsoon season. That's when typically the hikers will get there. But this year it was abnormally excessive snow. California also on the Sierras, they got slammed with snow. So people were going in. There's a few really adventurous people, and the snow was up to their waist.
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Adventurous people. Listen, I don't know if you know about it, but a couple of adventurous people decided to get on a submarine that was leaking and tried to go down the Titanic, and it didn't work out for them. Have you heard about that story yet?
Yes, I got the from the alerts here. Yep, I saw. That's terrible.
Listen, you're an adventurer, and it's terrible. I feel bad for them, but you're an
Yeah.
adventurer, and I was reading about these people, and I was like, well, they're all billionaires, and they're all adventurers, and 2 of them have been to space, and they're always trying to find like a way to spend their ungodly amounts of money to go do something crazy. But as an adventurer, if you got on a submarine, which now that I'm here, like reading the reports today, had a small trickle of a leak as it was leaving the surface, and you were going 3 miles down, do you feel like as an adventurer, you'd be like, I'm an adventurer, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom? Or you would say, you know what, maybe we should wait and fix that?
I would wait to fix that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
What is it? Take care of your tools, and your tools will take care of you, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. What? Speaking of tools, what kind of things do you bring on a trek like this? I mean, you are going months and months.
Do you have to bring weapons in case you run across a bear?
Oh,
I
there we
mean,
go. What kind of weapons you carrying, Aaron?
yeah.
0 weapons, but you do have the national parks make you carry like bear spray. So you have this
Okay.
like super mace canister pretty much for the bears if they were to come with you, come towards you. Um, I didn't even see any, and I think actually I may have heard one today, but I'm guessing it was a bear because it was so loud crashing through the forest, getting away from me. But I never.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Wow.
weapon. No, that's about it. And then you have a sleeping bag, tent, weather equipment. Nothing.
How do you find food along the way?
Yeah. What kind of varmints are you eating?
If I had the
Wham
time
it.
and trap stuff, yeah, that would be probably a dream. But no, essentially you just carry your food with you. So you plan according, like every 5 to 7 days, typically you can get into a town, and normally they're like 30 miles off trail. So you got to get a ride from somebody on the highway, and you go in there and you restock. But you end up eating a lot of ramen, a lot of dried mashed instant potatoes, summer sausage, tuna packets, all that easy, convenient stuff.
So you're like old school thumbing it, like hitchhiking.
He's the creepy hitchhiker on the side of the road that I go, don't pick him up. Just keep driving. That's who he is. He's the guy where my mother used to sing the song, never pick up a stranger. Don't put your life in danger. I hum it every time I see one of you people on the side of the road, Aaron. I would never pick you up. I'm sorry.
In the Midwest, I feel the same way. I say that all the time. I would never pick myself up out here, but
All right.
hiking territory, so people kind of will give you a helping hand.
Okay.
If you're just joining us, Aaron Borowski is an Evergreen Park resident. How long you lived in the EP?
I've been here in the EP for about probably 13 years now.
All right, and you live in Evergreen Park, and you decided you're going to hike the Continental Divide, basically Mexico to Canada, going through the mountains. And I find it fascinating that you're walking through the national park, and you've these beautiful, beautiful photos of the places that you're being. And I really appreciate you sending them along so we can show people. And you're walking along through these places, and you're hiking, and it doesn't look like it's a trail there. You're just kind of out in the wilderness. And then you're kind of breaking out every once in a while when you're near a place, and you go, okay, we're going to head to that place and get some supplies, and then you head back. So how often are you just out in the wild by yourself? And then how often do you kind of run into other people doing what you're doing, and it's basically like a group of you, and you're just kind of hanging out like, hey, I'll stick with you for the next couple of days?
It's you can go days without seeing people, but I would say between towns, to answer that question, could be 5 days, could be 7 days on average before you get to go into a new town. And then as far as bumping into people, there's so few hikers out here doing the whole thing that, you may buddy up with someone if you bump into them at the right time, but you could go days without seeing other hikers.
Are you worried about losing cell service?
No.
And just
Actually,
being stranded?
No, you don't. Most of the time you don't have cell service. Like when I'm headed south,
Jeez.
Bob Marshall Wilderness, and there's going to be like no cell signal out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they have these very convenient little like Garmin sells them. They're a beacon. So if something does go wrong, if you have an emergency, you hit an SOS button and it beams up to the Iridium satellites, and they'll send you search and rescue, which may take a day or two depending where you're at to get to you.
That's insane.
But-
So how many? I'm going to ask all the weird questions because these are the
I'm
things.
asking all the practical
Anything
stuff.
that pops
Weapons,
in my head.
food,
Anything that
cellular
pops in my head,
service.
I'm going to ask him about it. Okay, so how many complete weirdos have you met on this trip? Because I'm sorry, there are people out in the wilderness that are feral. I know people don't know this,
Feral.
but in my life, traveling around this country, there are feral weirdos living in the woods. You don't
Deliverance.
realize it happens, but they're there. How many completely strange individuals have you come across?
I would say one, and it was a hermit
I
in New
knew
Mexico.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
he
he's
was-
a hermit. Tell me about him. Tell me a little bit about him.
He was a nice guy. He's been living out in a national forest property for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years now. And the rangers really they haven't kicked him off. You're not supposed to live out there like that. But he grows his own food. He goes into town maybe like once or twice a year. And that's it. But he was a nice guy, offers food. And, but yeah, he was kind of out there because you don't expect to run into somebody out in the middle of nowhere with their own setup.
Well, all you got to do is tell him you're from Evergreen Park, the hometown of the Unabomber, and you're going to be his king. He's going to be like, oh, well, you're my people.
You know that Ted Kaczynski guy?
Yeah, I rejected technology and moved into the woods years ago. Me and him were kinfolk. I mean, like, seriously, you're a god to those people.
I'll have to remember that time. I'll pull that one out, that card, just in case I get into trouble.
All right. So, Aaron, where do you think you'll be next week?
So next week, I'm hoping to be in Lincoln, Montana. By that point,
Ooh.
that'll be 150 miles from here.
And then you are figuring when is the end of this trip? How far out?
I would love to finish in early to mid-September in Colorado.
Okay. All right. This is awesome. Well,
That's great.
will you check in with us? Or I'm going to keep reaching out to you. I want people to follow this because I think this is great. You jump on, we talk a little bit, we see the view. It looks like you got a house behind you. You're not roughing it today, are you?
No, I got a hitch back into town from Mariah's Pass on Highway 2, and I came back to East Glacier. So I'm actually at a hostel right now. So what you're seeing is the tail end of the hostel that I'm staying at overnight.
See, I've seen that movie, and it's scary. So I'm worried about Aaron now.
How are you keeping your cell phone charged?
Well, when you go into town, you charge up, but otherwise you carry a battery backup. I have like a 20,000 milliamp hour little mini battery, weighs like 12 ounces. You carry that with you.
Okay.
Well, this is an incredible journey. I'm going to ask the obvious question, and I'm going to let you go.
Right.
Why?
I've been waiting for this.
Why did you decide to do this? This is a heck of a, like, here's the thing. Like, I know why I would do it. To get away from my 3 kids and my wife. And I need like 6 months away from everybody that's driving me nuts. And I would go out into the middle of the wilderness. Like, that's why I would do it. Was somebody driving you nuts, Aaron? Is that why you decided to do this?
Not at all. Nature's beautiful. Life's short. This is like, these types of adventures have been so fun that, I can't life without them. This is just fantastic to do. It's really exciting. Adventure every day. You're living day by day. There are variables that you can't control, things that you're going to have happen to you, and you just got to go with the flow. It's kind of thrilling and fun all at the same time.
All right. Well, Aaron Borowski, your friend stuck around all the way to the end of the interview, so I'm
They
going to
sure
bring him
did.
in so they can say goodbye to you. Joe and Jody, say
Joe and
goodbye to
Jody.
Aaron.
Bye,
Goodbye,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Stay safe. We'll talk soon.
You sound good, Aaron.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Aaron. We'll check in with you, okay?
It's awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Watch out for the weirdos. Remember, Unabomber. You're from his hometown. Okay?
That one in
Yeah.
my mind.
That gives you some street cred out there in the middle of the Continental Divide if you tell people that you know the Unabomber. You're from his hometown. That's all you got to do.
That's all you gotta do.
That's all you got to do.
That's how you survive.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very nice. Okay, so Aaron Borowski is traveling the Continental Divide all the way from like Mexico up to Canada. It's interesting though the way that he kind of said the trek. It seems like he kind of had to skip something.
Yeah.
If you know anything about geography, for him to be in Montana and his intention is to loop back to Colorado, it's because he was snowed in and had to kind of take a different trek.
Yeah.
So he's got to find his way back. He's looking at September.
Yeah.
Is when he thinks he's going to be done with this thing. And he started in April. I know. Man, I need to find a way to like convince my family that I need to go on a trip like this.
Talk about a leave of absence.
Yeah. The next time we have him on, we're going to ask him like what he does for a living and who let him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably retired. Okay.
Could be.
I mean, it was kind of a funny joke. His friend was like, he used to have black hair and now it's all white.
That's all white. Oh no, my hair is all white if I let it grow out. So, and I'm not old.
All right, so here, quick reminder before we get to Lorraine Swanson here, and there's a lot more ahead. We're going to talk about Spoken Vine. Hannah went yesterday to day 1 of their soft open, and I went today. It was invite only. And then I saw on the door, they're open Friday.
Yeah,
so that
Friday's
means tomorrow,
opening day.
the long-awaited Spoken Vine opens up at on the northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. It's a wine bar, a little bicycle themed, really neat. We're going to get into it here later on in the show after Lorraine. And before we get to that, remember the EP podcast will be at 95th and Turner on Parade Day, June the 30th. Okay, so June the 30th, the Independence Day Parade. Mayor Kelly Burke is going to be stopping by at some point. We have her on the show on Monday, and then she's going to be stopping by at some point, probably before the parade actually kicks off. But if you want to come out there early on, before it kicks off, this is the place to watch the parade from. Family Waterproofing Solutions, who's on the network that we're on, not on the EP podcast, but they're on the network. They're on Southside Pod. They're the sponsor of that show. They are hosted. They're having a big party in their parking lot, and we're going to be part of it, sitting there, watching the parade,
Yeah.
having a good time, and right there on the corner with our tent, stop by. We're going to be doing pod squares, a chance for you to win some cash. Okay, you can win some cold hard cash
Cold
from the
hard
EP
cash.
podcast at 95th and Turner on Parade Day. Get out there and join us. Okay, so that and you know, it's interesting. We talked a little bit about the parade with the mayor, and you'll hear that interview on Monday. And it sounds like they really wanted to get like families in the parade.
Okay.
They wanted to get people
Yeah.
to be like, or little groups and stuff like that. Like the things that don't normally show up in the parade.
Yeah.
So they're going to have like the normal parade, but they're hoping to get that. The problem is what they learned was a lot of people, it's very hard for them to nail down their groups. So they're going to kind of approach it a different way. I still will say this to you though. Anybody,
The individual.
I'm not kidding. If you look at the parade application on the Evergreen Park Village website, an individual can walk down 95th Street in the Independence Day Parade for $25, and I will pay it. I'm paying it for you. Any individual who wants to walk down the parade, you contact me at theeppodcast.com or jump on this show tonight, and I will pay your way to be the individual entrant in the Independence Day Parade. Imagine you walking down the street. If it were me, I'd have a 40. It'd be inside of a paper bag.
40.
That's what I would do. I would do that. I'm a little brash. I would do that, okay? But I would be walking down the middle of the street. I don't think the village would allow you to do that, so you have to tell them it's like, you know, Hawaiian Punch or something like that, okay? You got to hide it, okay? But what I would do is I'd be walking right down the middle of the street as myself. I'd probably wear one of my Hawaiian shirts. I got a big orange one that I really like. Drives my wife nuts. Drives
yeah,
my wife.
wear that
Glows
one.
in the dark.
Wear
It's so
that
bright.
one.
Yeah. Okay. And I'd be walking down the street. I will pay your $25 entry fee if you want to be an individual entrant in the Independence Day Parade going
We
down
got you
95th
covered.
Street. I got you covered. That's what I got. I got you covered. Okay. Lorraine Swan's supposed to come up. She's not here yet. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about Spoken Vine. Sound
Okay,
good?
yeah.
All right. Hold on a second. You went on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Yesterday. So
Yes.
tell me what it was like for you when you walked in there. This is one of the more hotly like waited on establishments in Evergreen Park. It was announced over a year ago. They've had the sign out there for a while. People keep asking me, when is this wine bar opening up? What were your impressions when you went in there for the soft open on Wednesday night?
The ambiance is what got me. The decor, the open space. It didn't feel like you were in Evergreen Park. It feels like something that would have been in downtown.
I don't
like
know
a-
if I go downtown.
a hotel
Lamont,
bar.
maybe. I'd say Lamont.
Yeah, like a hotel bar.
I'm fancy, so
it
I
reminded me
feel
of a nice
fancy.
hotel. It reminded me of a nice hotel bar because it had the bar, it had the sofas that you could sit at, it had the tables. I really liked it. What I like is their wines that you can't just like run to Benny's and get. They're different wines. So if you do a flight, you're gonna be trying different types of wine. The food is just so fresh and so good. The service was great. It's an open space. I just liked everything about it. It's a great place for girlfriends to go just to have wine to catch up. It's a great date night to go out, and you're not that far from home. That's the great part about it.
Let me tell you the thing that hit me first.
What hit you first?
What hit me first was
There's no telling.
at the bottom of the menu it says 21 and over.
Oh yeah.
21 and over to be on the premises.
Yep.
So guess what? I love that. My wife loved that.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is why. Because I don't want to have a bunch of young moms who've decided they're going out and getting white girl wasted and
Mm-hmm.
bringing their toddlers with. You know what I'm saying? Like I want an actual adult bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, that we don't have enough.
And
of this
everything
here.
is family friendly in Evergreen
And
Park.
I get that, and I
Yeah.
love it. But you know what? An adult bar.
Not everything has to be though.
An adult bar is cool. Like we
The
walked into a place.
babysitters are making money.
Right. There were no children, and they're not allowed. And I thought that was great. I'm sorry, but I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really nice to go into like a trendy place and like your children aren't welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watch, I'll find out that that's not the case. But it was written on the menu.
It's written on the menu. No,
Yeah.
Reed, the owner, told me last night. He's like, get a babysitter.
Right.
He said everybody in here has got a babysitter.
Yeah, you got to be 21 and over to walk into the place. Okay? Because I know my daughter was like, well, can I be a hostess? And they kind of looked at her like she had three heads. Like, this is a grown-up place.
Yeah.
And you walk in there, and I think that, like, I'm going to echo some of the things you said. It is trendy. It is nice. It is high class. It does have, in my opinion, just a slightly higher price point, but not like absurd. You know
No.
what I'm saying? Like it's worth what I'm paying to get it. The
Right.
food was great. I'm gonna tell you this right
So
now.
fresh.
I'm gonna tell you right now. And the thing is, they don't advertise with us, so I'm gonna tell you that the food was great because, like one I had like these dates that were bacon wrapped.
Yeah.
They were amazing. And I was like, well, okay, that's good. That's a solid meal. You want to get the best value on the menu if they keep doing it, because they had it there. They put out this meatballs platter.
With the toast points.
The meatballs are huge. They're the size of the microphone here. I mean, you see this? It's like a giant.
They give you like 3 of
It's
them.
like 3 of them with all kinds of bread around the thing, like toasted
Yeah.
bread around it. Like you could sit down, you and your significant other, and you could just get the meatball tray and have some wine, and you'd be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could get a flatbread and you could be good. Like we are trying all kinds of items
The
because
pesto flatbread, I
Right.
highly recommend.
we were trying to figure out like what the place was all about. So we were trying everything, right?
Yeah.
But like you could go in and have a very reasonable night because the portions were so good
Yeah.
that you were like, I don't need to buy a lot.
They don't skimp.
No, they don't skimp
skimp.
at all. And
No.
that's what I like that. And I also like that. I will tell you a couple tips. I will tell you this. The wine flight that they suggest is a great value.
I
When
tried
you,
it.
When you compare it to if you individually pick the different wines. Okay. And then if you know what you want, get big glass. Because
Yeah.
the big glass is the value. Like I'm one of those
And
guys
they
that,
offer 3 different size
right.
pours.
But I walk into a place and I look at a menu and I go, how do I get the most alcohol for the least amount of money? Like I'm doing measurements.
bargain shopping.
Oh, I'm doing measurements in my head. Like how do
Bargain shopping.
I get the most alcohol for the least amount of money? So get the big pour. And if you want to do the samples, if you want to do where they give you the tasting,
yeah.
do the house tasting they suggest
Mm-hmm.
rather than build your own. You'll get the most for
You will, and they're good wines. I did the red flight. I didn't try the white flight.
Yeah,
but
I don't
did
like
the
white
red.
wine. White wine is disgusting.
Oh, it's not disgusting.
It's gross.
Well, like Moscato.
It's
like,
awful.
yeah, that's disgusting.
It's
but-
all of it's terrible.
Oh,
I don't
come
like
on.
any of it.
Pinot Grigio's not bad.
No, terrible. It's all bad.
Terrible.
Everything's bad. If it's not
Terrible.
red, if it's not red wine, it's terrible.
Terrible.
They shouldn't even be called wines, as far as I'm concerned.
It's sugar
They're
water.
flat champagnes, is what they are. White wine.
Sugar.
That's all they are.
Sugar.
Okay, but you had the what? The red wine?
I did the red flight,
All
yeah.
right,
And
yeah.
I had a rosé. I had a glass of rosé, and because it was a summer night, it's like, oh yeah, I had some rosé.
Yeah.
It was good. I went with a girlfriend. It's a perfect place for like just you catch up with your friends and just sit at the bar. We met new people. We met new friends that were sitting next to us. We stayed till you can kind of tell they're flipping the chairs over on the table, like, hey, let's get out of here. But I liked it. I'm glad that Evergreen Park can offer something like this and that it's adults only.
Yes, it was a very nice time. I'll give one thing that I really liked on the menu I didn't expect, and one thing I would like them to add.
Okay.
I would like them to add a Shiraz
There is not a Shiraz.
from Australia,
Yeah.
from the Barbosa Valley. I think most good wine bars have one.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I noticed. And I like going to wine bars when I was out on the West Coast doing radio, and I was up in Reno and in the Sierra Nevadas and in wine country, and then I was down a little bit south, but I was still near wine country.
Yeah.
We did a lot of wine drinking out there, so I have at least a lot of experience in it. I would have one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I hate Merlot, and the Merlot they have was like so good.
They had a
'Cause
very
they have
good
a
French
They
Merlot.
have a French Merlot, and you
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
could taste it inside of their. And I was like, that was the first time I've ever had a Merlot in my life that I liked.
Yeah.
It was. I was like, I'm in. I'm done.
And it was a local sommelier
Right.
that picked out all the wines.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. Whoever's picking them, if that's what it was, because you got more info than I got. I
Yeah.
was too busy drinking and laughing.
I think her name is Jane.
I had Mike Thauer from Country Financial was there. Okay. I had Colleen Klimzak. She does a podcast on a network, Your Organized Life. There were all kinds of people that I work with. So I was too busy holding court when I was there.
Yeah.
I walked in, I knew half the place.
Right.
So so I didn't get a lot of the background. You got a lot of the background. You're the investigative reporter, and I'm
I
the
am. I was noticing everything.
Right. And I'm the clown with the microphone. I wasn't really trying to investigate. anything.
investigating.
Right, exactly. So, but I will tell you this. You could tell that there was a lot of care in it. And I told my wife within about 2 minutes, if I was going to go out for a night to sample wines and drink at a wine bar, would I rather go to that place that's in, what is it, in Oak Lawn? It's like the chain restaurant. You see them all over the place. There's one in Orland. There's one in Oak Lawn.
Cooper's Hawk.
Cooper's Hawk. Would I
Yeah.
rather go to Cooper's Hawk?
Oh, this
would
is so
Would
much
I rather
better.
go to Spoken Vine? I'm going to tell you 10 times out of 10 I go to Spoken Vine.
Go to Spoken Vine. You can actually sit down at the bar.
Yeah.
You don't got to
Yeah,
stand.
like I'm not standing in a big like herd to try to get my samples.
Right.
There's plenty. It's set up the proper way.
Yeah.
And then I'm not getting gouged like I would at like a Cooper's Hawk, and they're not sitting there. Like I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going out, you like wine, and I like wine from time to time. I'm a beer guy and a bourbon guy, probably more than a wine guy, but I do like wine. I do like to do that every once in a while. The Italian blood in me. Okay. This is a good spot to go to.
Yeah.
It's got my recommendation. I love it.
I loved it.
I think Lorraine Swanson fell asleep on her couch.
I think she did too. I think she was playing police officer all day and needed a nap.
I think Lorraine Swanson fell asleep on her couch. So maybe we'll get her on the next show, or she'll jump in here at the end. We'll see what happened.
We'll see.
I've texted her. I don't know where she is. Okay. She was going to get in here and talk about all the police blotter stuff. I talked to her earlier today, and I was like, oh, it's going to be great. And I have no idea where she is. She's well overdue. So tell me a little bit, if you don't mind.
If I don't mind.
Actually, you know what? Forget that. I don't need to hear about you. I got a good story. Then I'll get to you.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a good story?
no.
Otherwise, I got to go.
I have.
I have a good library story.
Okay. Tell me the library story.
Okay. So I go and I teach a class on podcasting.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. So the first time I did this was pre-pandemic, when people barely knew about the EP podcast or Socks in the Basement or Southside Pod, and the company was just getting started and stuff like that. And I had like 4 people sitting there, and it was just the worst experience. Like nobody there really was there for podcasting, and I was like, why did I waste an hour? So Frank Murray from the library like asked me a couple weeks ago, or actually a couple months ago, can I put you in the program and set you up in June at some point to, do a presentation? And they normally pay the people that do the presentations, the library. They'll give them a fee. Now I waived my fee because I like Frank and I'm a
Yeah.
member of the community. I said, don't worry about it all. I'll do it for free. And I'll show up for an hour and I'll talk. So I show up and I sit down in the meeting room, and this was on Tuesday night. It was a free come in and learn how to podcast thing. First person walks in, sits down in a chair, and I ask her while I'm waiting, because she's there 10 minutes early. I'm like, so you're thinking about podcasting? This woman looks at me and goes, no, I'm looking to blog. I don't know how to get my own website, though, and how to use WordPress. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to do that either.
I could have helped her on that,
I was
but
like-
blogging
the
and
funniest thing was I was like,
podcasting are not the same.
I looked right at her. I'm like, I don't know how to do that either. She's like, what? I'm like, that's not what this class is. Like in the description, Hannah, it says, Chris Lanuti from the EP podcast and the Broadcast Basement Network will be teaching you how to start a podcast. This woman showed up with a completely different set of questions that had nothing to do with it. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. Next person walks in. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see if this person's into podcasting. Then I get this couple that walks in. It's a little bit older. Okay. They sit down, and right away I'm like, they don't know what they're here for. I'm getting all these people are just looking for something to do.
Okay.
But then right before the thing starts, the room fills up. I got 25 people.
25.
Oh, there were people with laptops out.
Really?
They had questions. It was the liveliest class. But the problem was, as the class starts, I ask the question, does anybody here have a podcast? Now, I don't expect anybody to have one, but maybe somebody's shown up and they're a little bit ahead of the class because it's how to start a podcast. And this woman, one of the elderly couple, she raises her hand.
Really?
And I'm like, this woman's got a podcast? She looks like she's 65, 70 years old. Good
Okay.
for her.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay. All right. I'm going to walk over here. I'm like, you got a podcast? She goes, yeah. I go, okay. What's your podcast? And she takes her phone and she shows me a podcast on her phone. And I look at the cover, and the woman in the picture looks nothing like this woman. The woman I'm talking to, literally could have been the polar opposite image of the woman that I'm looking at that's in the picture of the podcast. And I go, wait a minute, is this your podcast? And she goes, no, I came to this class so you could teach me how to subscribe to this podcast. She came to the class so I could teach her how to subscribe to the podcast.
Did you?
And I leaned over and I was like, you hit this little button right here. And I hit it. And she goes, that's it? I said, that's it. And they left.
Oh my God.
Amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing.
God bless her. Bless her heart.
And then if you listen to, you'll hear a really good part of this story if you listen to Sox in the Basement tomorrow, the #1 White Sox podcast in all the land. But I then brought up like an editing screen at some point when I was through it. And here I am pretending to be a podcast expert. Like I'm there as an expert. I'm there to tell
Right.
them this is how you do things.
From
And
the
they're
ground
asking-
up,
and
this is
I'm,
how to do it.
I'm answering all the questions. And as I bring up the thing, I'm showing them something that I had just recorded and published that day. And as I'm playing them the little section, I hear the mistake that I made where I screwed something up.
Did
And
they
right
notice?
right as it happened, I was like, oh, that wasn't right. And they're all laughing. I'm like, so I mean, even after you've done it for as long as me, you screw things up. Because
Right.
I went home immediately and had to fix the show.
If you didn't call it out, do you think they would have noticed?
No, everybody noticed. It
Okay.
sounded terrible. It was
Okay.
like a real mistake with like the editing, and it was like, what the heck did I do there?
Okay.
And I had screwed something up. But it's so funny. Here I am trying to act like I'm an expert, and I go and I put this thing up, and it just basically shows I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in the end, they seem to all be very happy. A bunch of people took business cards. Several of them reached out. I've told them like, what do you need? Let me know. I'll help
Yeah.
you. But I mean, like, there was one guy who was sitting there and he was telling me he wanted to start a podcast in Mount Greenwood about Mount Greenwood. And I looked at him like, I don't know, you're a little close to my territory there, big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, big guy.
I don't think we're helping you.
Yeah, big guy. No.
You're out. You're out. Anybody got one in Frankfurt? We're not in Frankfurt. Anybody
Yeah.
that's far enough away from me. I don't want anybody that close. I don't
Gotta
want
be
any-
outside of the market.
I don't want anybody
Gotta
in
be
the way of what
outside
I'm
of the
doing.
Evergreen Park market.
Right. All right, here, I'm going to throw it one more time, and I'm going to throw the invite if somebody wants to jump in and talk with us.
Somebody jump
fir-
in and talk
Yeah,
to
here's the
us.
funny thing. We had one guest we knew was going to be joining us at 8:30, which was Lorraine Swanson from The Patch. And we had one guest we were wondering if he could get a signal in the middle of the mountains. The guy in the middle of the mountains jumped on the show.
Yeah.
I actually kicked
At a
him.
hostel.
I actually kicked him off because I was like, Lorraine's jumping on too
Yeah.
late, so I got to kick him off. I would have kept him on.
Yeah, well,
Right?
I had so many more questions.
Lorraine didn't make it. We're gonna
I had
have him
so
back.
many more
We're gonna have
questions.
Aaron back though. I still think this is amazing. I really do. I know I've shown him a couple times, but I really think. I mean, look at that.
Gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Gorgeous.
Like I mean, he makes.
I've
me,
never been to the mountains.
He
so
makes
like,
me want to strap a backpack on my back.
Yeah, but how long would you really last?
You don't think I could last in the mountains?
Nope. The walking
You're insulting.
with your back?
I wouldn't last in the mountains.
With
Of
your
course I would.
back?
Of course, I would last in the mountains.
Of course it would last.
You don't.
in the
No, I
mountains.
would last in the mountains.
For how long though?
I could do it the entire time.
You can do it the entire time.
You don't think I can rough it?
I don't think you can rough it.
Oh, I'd
City
survive.
boy.
I'd
City
survive.
boy. I don't think
I'd
you can
survive.
rough it.
I could make it. I could make it in the mountains. I think I could do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't like, look, he's at a hostel tonight.
Yeah.
It's not like he's living in the woods.
But
Like,
sometimes he is.
Well, sometimes he is.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think I could do it. I
think
I
you
could
could do it?
survive. Yeah. I'm a father of 3. I think if you're a father of 3 and you've gotten them all to the point where I've gotten them, where one of them's actually looking at colleges, I've been through enough that I could survive in the woods.
All
I
right.
feel good about what I could be.
All right.
I want to go see stuff like this.
You do you, boo.
Yeah, this one's the prettiest one. I
That,
want to go.
that one's my favorite.
I want to go
yeah.
find that lake and go swimming in it.
I do too.
Do you think he would jump in that?
I don't know.
See, if I got
See,
to
it
something
looks
like
like
that,
it's close, but I bet it's far away.
if I got to something
That's the
like
thing about
that,
the mountains. It looks like it's close, but it's so far away.
I would walk down to it and want to go jump in the water.
I would totally want to jump in that. It looks
And then
cold.
I would freeze to death because it was cold. You're right. I would die in the mountains.
You would die in the mountains.
I would die in the
Yep.
mountains. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I would do something stupid and I would
Yep.
die in the mountains.
You would jump in the pond, in the lake, and you'd get cold,
Right. I would die in the
and
mountains.
then the bear would find you.
By the way, speaking
Bears
of
can smell fear.
my my children, humble brag time.
Humble brag.
I wouldn't have done this if I would have had Lorraine on to talk about what was going on in Evergreen Park. Humble brag time. Audrey took her ACT.
Yeah.
Got her results today.
Oh, what did she get?
She got a 31.
Is she happy?
She's ecstatic. She got a
Good.
31. The highest thing you get is a 36.
Good.
I got a 28.
Yeah.
That's I
Good
mean, like
for her.
I think my first try was a 26, and then I got a 28. This girl got a 31.
her.
And now what they do with these kids?
Scholarship,
Listen to me.
scholarship.
Now what they do with these kids is, and this is a bunch of crap. This is what they do with these kids. You can take the best section of all of your tests and combine them into a super score.
Yeah.
So she took it once before, and if she takes the best sections, she now has a 32.
Okay.
So she gets upped. So the thing is, if you're willing to pay the money and let's say you do really good on science in the first one, you do really good on the read or the English on the next one or whatever like that, you can combine all of your scores and make a super score. Okay? When back when we were kids, whatever your score was your score. If you
I
got
remember after 3 takes, they started averaging your score.
right, and so with
Yeah.
this, but this doesn't do that. Now what they do is they say, okay, fine, you got let's say you get a 29, right? And like you had one that was a 31 for your science, right, or whatever it is, your English, but you got a 26 on your math. Okay, so you had a really low score. The next time you do it, you get a 32 on your math, but you do bad on the other one. You get the 2 high scores and you make yourself into a 30 something or other.
Mm-hmm.
She has a natural 31, which I think is the most impressive thing.
Yeah.
Because she's like, well, I got the combined 32. And I'm like, that's fake.
Yeah.
That's fake.
You got it like you just
You got it.
went
You got,
au natural.
That's the way I look at it. I'm like, you're a natural 31.
Au natural.
Don't be walking around telling people you're a 32. I feel like it's cheating.
Yeah, you're
That's what I
30.
feel.
No.
I feel like that's some.
You're
cheating.
31. Scholarships, money, 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 money.
All right. Before we get out of here, what's the update on the boyfriend? What's going on?
Oh,
here?
everything's
The
fabulous.
last
Everything is amazing.
The last time that we chatted, you did everything you could to make the little kid like you.
I think I succeeded.
And now, as we heard at the beginning of the show, you let the little kid beat you up.
I did.
Which is frightening to me, Hannah. I don't think
come
it's a good
on.
example to
We
women.
had so much fun. We were doing sting operations.
Listen, I don't think it's a good example to young girls that in an effort to impress a man, you let this boy beat you up.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad thing.
I did.
How many-
I really wanted to impress this boy.
I mean, like, it's okay
and
to
I
tell the
let
kid
him
no.
beat me up.
Let me explain something about children. They
Okay.
respect it when you tell them no.
I do tell him no. There are no's. I do tell him
well,
no.
there should have been a no before the first bruise, or definitely after.
I
the
didn't
first
get the
bruise.
bruises till like after I got home. I didn't
Okay.
notice them till after I got home.
Oh.
Yeah, see, there it is. There's one.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I remember when I was a new parent, my mother gave me a book. And it was all about like my mom gives me a book every day. I have drawers of books. She comes over, she brings me like religious pamphlets, prayer cards, novenas, anything she can think of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a book on this, here's a book on that. My mother has spent thousands of dollars on books that I'll never read. Because I look at them and I go, okay, I'll get to it when I get a chance to do it. And there's a new book 2 days later.
Yeah.
So there's just stacks of them. And I don't want to throw them away, especially when she gives me the religious ones. When she gives me something with the Virgin Mary's picture on it, it's like, I don't want this.
I don't want
But I
this.
can't throw the Virgin Mary in the garbage.
No, you can't. Don't do that.
No, so I have to keep
You
it
have to save
someplace.
it, yeah.
I have drawers of this crap. And now I just call it crap. So
I'm going to say, oh.
I know, now I got to go to
you just called
confession
it
because I called it crap. Now I got
You
to
called
see.
it
This is the
crap.
Catholic guilt that I have. The Catholic guilt that I have tells me that I can't just throw this thing out because she gave it to me and it's got some kind of religious picture on it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hell. Like I'm gonna die. And no matter how good of a life I lived, when I get to the pearly gates, I'm gonna walk up and they'll be like, well, you were in.
Yeah.
You were getting in. But remember when you took that Mary bookmark that your mother bought you 42 years ago and you threw it in the garbage? That was a picture of Jesus's mother.
Yeah.
Straight to hell, heathen. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. So they're all sitting in drawers. All of them. Okay? So
Religious education right here at the Nudie House.
This is like a real thing. But anyway, she gave me this book. And the book she gave me early on that I actually read it was written by a female psychologist who, did an entire study and drew upon her own experience about what it was like to be a daughter and what women want from their fathers.
Okay.
And it's one of the few books that I always kept like in my head. That I've always thought of like this one little section of the book, and it's always guided me. When she sat there and she explained that, and I'm going to say this right now, and there's going to be women who'll be like, that's the most terrible thing, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. But this is what she said. So you tell me if this makes sense to you.
Okay.
What she said was, your instinct as a father is to give them everything.
Okay.
To treat them as a princess, to give, whatever they want, give it to them, whatever. But deep down, if you don't say no every once in a while, if you don't argue back, if you don't have a line that they can't cross, that these young girls will think that you don't care about them because you'll let them get away with whatever they want to get away with.
Yeah.
And that they'll actually understand how much you care about them because you say the word no. So you're a woman. Is that a bunch of crap or not? Because I've done that. I have used that in the back of my head with my daughter constantly. And we have a great relationship because I will sit there and say, this is wrong. Or no, you can't do that.
It would be too easy if you were told yes all the time.
Wouldn't it?
It would be too easy.
Yeah.
It would be too. You wouldn't learn how to work for something.
No. And
You
so,
wouldn't learn how to be sweet and work on daddy and like.
oh, and she does. She works on dad.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like I see that there's this really funny, like, I don't know if it's a TikTok or a reel or whatever. It pops up in my Instagram feed every once in a while. And it's this woman saying, like, on my way to go find my husband to talk about the argument I had with my daughter.
Yeah.
And she walks in the room and the daughter's like, sitting on dad's lap, giggling. Like, that's what my daughter is.
Okay.
Like, she knows who to play. She's like, dad's going to take my side. 9 out of 10 times. Like, she knows she can get me. She knows they can be having an argument and I walk up and like, what's going on here? I try to hide. I try to hide in the basement down there at the bar all the time. And they're yelling at each other upstairs because that's what daughters and mothers do, especially in the teenage years. And they're having an argument. And I walk up and finally I'm like, I got to go up there. And my son will look at me like, don't go, Dad. It's a terrible idea.
Don't go.
Don't.
Take this with you.
You're going to die if you go up there,
this
Dad.
with you
Don't
for
walk up there.
protection.
Right, exactly. What are you doing? Don't go in there. This is terrible.
It's a trap.
I'm like, it's okay, guys. I'll go up there. No. Don't go up there. Don't go up there.
Father, don't go.
Bad things are going to happen if you go up there, Dad. Don't worry about it. I got it. And I walk up there into the fray, right? When they're going at it. And I'll do the like, what's going on? And I know I'm supposed to take my wife's side. But my daughter makes very good points. And I have to sit there. Like, this is the thing. Daughters know how to get at their dads. They know exactly what to say. And you basically sit there at the end and you go, I should have never come up here. I'm going to go back downstairs. But now it's too late. And you're in trouble. You're in terrible, terrible trouble. Parade Day, 95th and Turner.
Party.
We'll be out there. Come by and see us. We're giving away cash. Okay?
Yes, we are.
We're gonna have a big contest that we're doing out there. I know the mayor's going to stop by at some point. That guy right there in the American flag shirt is Mark Marzullo. He's
We
a village
love
trustee.
Mark Marzullo.
I have not talked to Mark in a while. I'm going to reach out to him this week and make sure he comes and joins us for the parade.
yeah.
Come over, say hi. We're going to be in front of Family Waterproofing Solutions right there on the corner of 95th and Turner. I'm looking forward to a big parade. We will do a live podcast the night before the parade.
Yeah.
So we will do a show. I would imagine Lorraine Swanson will be on it because she missed this show. And maybe we'll get Aaron back, but I'm going to find somebody else that you haven't seen this week so that it's a little bit fresh. So we're going to do that, okay? What Hannah doesn't like the word no, trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nope. Don't like the word no. I don't
That's
tell.
the guy,
I don't.
right?
Yeah,
That's the
him.
guy right there.
That's the
That's
dad.
the guy.
I tell the.
There
I
he
don't
is.
tell the little boy no.
That's the boyfriend.
I don't tell the little boy no.
There we go. All right, bud. Everybody, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Evergreen Park.
Oh, no, it's got to do the cycling thing, and now it's going to start
Oh,
over.
yeah.
There it is.
Sorry, again.
Bye-bye.
Podcast.
Bye.